They don't pay me enough to ride this thing. That's what I said.
The 1970s to the early 1980s is often hailed as the golden era of two-stroke racing, a time when these high-performance machines dominated the tracks and captivated racing fans around the world. This period was defined by the prominence of Formula 750, a racing class created for motorcycles with engine capacities of up to 750 cc. The Formula 750 series officially began in 1973 and ran until 1979, after which the focus shifted to other classes like 500cc Grand Prix. Alongside the series, iconic races like the Daytona 200 also became battlegrounds for these powerful two-stroke machines, especially during the mid to late 1970s. Riders such as Kenny Roberts, Barry Sheene, and Yvon Duhamel brought these motorcycles to life, pushing the limits of speed and skill on some of the most legendary tracks of the era. The world of motorcycle racing was shifting. Riders wanted bigger, faster, and more powerful machines. Yamaha had already made a name for itself in smaller classes, dominating 250 and 350cc categories, with their two-stroke race bikes like the TZ750 and TZ350. But the 750 class, especially in the Formula 750 Championship, was where the big boys played. To compete with manufacturers like Kawasaki and Suzuki, Yamaha needed something extraordinary. Yamaha's engineers essentially doubled the successful TZ350 twin-cylinder engine to create a 694cc inline-four two-stroke powerhouse. This wasn't just a motorcycle, it was a missile on wheels. The Yamaha TZ750 was a masterpiece of engineering. A 694cc liquid-cooled, inline-four, two-stroke engine with reed valve induction. This engine was pure brute force, designed to scream to high RPMs and deliver explosive power. It started with around 90 horsepower in early versions, but quickly evolved to produce up to 140 horsepower in later factory-tuned variants. At just 150 kilograms, it was as light as it was powerful, making it a rocket on the straights and a weapon in corners. The TZ750 could hit 180 miles per hour, a staggering speed for its time. When talking about chassis, a lightweight tubular steel frame and magnesium parts were used to keep weight low. The TZ750 wasn't for the faint-hearted. Its explosive power band made it difficult to control, and inexperienced riders often found themselves in trouble. But for those who could tame it, it was unbeatable. Over 200 race wins worldwide, a level of success few bikes can match. It also dominated the Daytona 200, one of the most prestigious races in the world, with multiple victories that solidified its reputation as a racing powerhouse. One of its most memorable moments came in 1975 at the Indy Mile. Kenny Roberts, riding a modified TZ750 flat tracker, faced off against Harley-Davidson dirt bikes. Despite the odds, he not only won but completely outclassed the competition. His performance was so remarkable that the bike was banned from dirt track racing after that. This is what Kenny Roberts had to say about the TZ750.
Think about individual rides, and I've said it before, what was your best individual ride? I'd have to say riding the TZ750 at the Indy Mile. You know, the thing had not been raced before. The spectators obviously didn't know what they were in for. It was double the horsepower of anything on the racetrack, and it was lighter. You know, I spent a couple of laps in last and worked my way up through the field. I kept going wide. The thing didn't really like the groove. It couldn't get any grip. So I had to keep going wider out on the outside. The last two laps, the back wheel was just tapping the hay bales. I really thought I was going to get third until I got a drive that last lap, which I couldn't believe. And then, you know, 2 foot before the start-finish line, I thought, man, I'm going to win this thing. People were jumping out of the bleachers, and the whole straightaway is full of people and screaming and yelling. And all I could say at that point was, they don't pay me enough to ride this thing. That's what I said. Well, I meant it. I was the only one serious about it. You know, all my experience all the that you learned from when I was 14 years old to 1975 was put into then 25 laps. It was just something that lives inside of me that it's very special.
In the golden era of motorcycle racing, two-stroke machines were miles ahead of their four-stroke counterparts in terms of raw power and lightweight performance. Within the fiercely competitive two-stroke category, the Yamaha TZ750 wasn't alone. It faced stiff competition from rivals like the Kawasaki KR750 and Suzuki TR750. These bikes brought their own unique strengths and challenges to the track, fueling one of the most thrilling chapters in racing history. The TZ750 had one clear advantage: raw power. With its explosive acceleration and relentless speed on the straights, it earned a reputation as a monster, feared by some, mastered by a few. But this power came with a trade-off. The bike's brutal power band and lightweight frame made it notoriously difficult to handle, demanding precision and skill from anyone brave enough to ride it. The Kawasaki KR750, by contrast, offered a more balanced approach. While it didn't have the sheer horsepower of the TZ750, its smoother power delivery and excellent handling gave it an edge in tight, technical sections of the track. It was more predictable, allowing riders to focus on their strategy rather than fighting the bike. Then there was the Suzuki TR750, a bike that could have been a real contender if not for its Achilles heel: reliability. While the TR750 was fast and innovative, it often struggled to finish races, making it less of a consistent threat to Yamaha and Kawasaki. In the end, the Yamaha TZ750 stood above the rest, not because it was perfect, but because it delivered unmatched speed and performance when tamed. Yet, the battles with the KR750 and TR750 weren't just about winning. They were about proving which machine had the heart, the engineering, and the legacy to define an era of two-stroke racing. Steve Baker, a legendary rider and the first American to win the Formula 750 World Championship in 1977, also had his unforgettable experiences with the mighty Yamaha TZ750.
Came through a very, I think, important time of development for Yamaha in the TZ, because I rode TD2s and then TD3s and TR3s and then TZs. I rode them all, the ones with the drum brakes, the ones with disc brakes, the ones that were air-cooled, water-cooled. So yeah, I mean, I got to live and ride that whole series of motorcycles. And I think I'm very, very fortunate, because, you know, what a great piece of machinery and evolution to follow. You know, I always remember in 1975, Yamaha brought over a monoshock model of the 750. And that changed me and the motorcycle. You could use all the power, and it had plenty of power. Sure, I went to Daytona with 1971, and my eyes were this big, you know, of the place. 1977, I won Daytona for Yamaha. That's my best memory.
If you've ever had the privilege of riding a bike like the Yamaha TZ750, we'd love to hear your story in the comments.